For 3 years, Marcus Thompson drove Uber through downtown Chicago, picking up drunk college kids, tired office workers, late-night party-goers, just another veteran trying to pay the bills after 2 tours in Afghanistan. Until 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday night, when his passenger said 5 words that revealed a terrorist plot targeting 65,000 people at tomorrow's Bears game. But here's what the terrorist didn't know. This wasn't just any Uber driver. Marcus was ex-Special Forces, and he was about to prove that some warriors never really retire. Stay with me, because what happens next involves a high-speed chase through downtown Chicago, tactical combat in city streets, and how one veteran with a Toyota Camry prevented the largest terrorist attack since 9/11. Marcus Thompson adjusted his rearview mirror as he pulled up to the Marriott downtown. 3 years of driving Uber, same routine every night. Pick up passengers, make small talk, collect 5 stars, pay the bills. At 34, this wasn't the life he'd imagined when he enlisted, but civilian jobs weren't exactly lining up for ex-Rangers with PTSD. The app pinged. James, pick up at the Marriott Destination O'Hare Airport, red-eye flight probably. Marcus had learned not to ask too many questions. A middle-aged man in a dark suit emerged from the hotel, carrying a single black briefcase. Clean-shaven, expensive watch, moved with purpose. Business traveler, Marcus assessed automatically. Old habits from his military training that never quite shut off. "James?" Marcus asked as the man approached. "That's right." The man slid into the back seat, immediately pulling out his phone. "O'Hare, Terminal 3. Marcus pulled into traffic, navigating the late-night streets with practiced ease. Chicago at 2:47 a.m. was a different city. Quieter, more honest somehow, fewer people pretending to be something they weren't. In the rearview mirror, he watched his passenger typing intensively on his phone. Not unusual, business travelers often worked during rides. But something felt off. The man's eyes kept darting to the windows, checking their route with unusual attention. Marcus had developed instincts during 2 tours in Afghanistan that kept him alive in places where civilians had no business being. Those same instincts were whispering warnings now. But Marcus had skills that none of his passengers knew about, skills developed in places most people couldn't pronounce, fighting enemies most people couldn't imagine. In just 60 seconds, you'll hear exactly what his passenger said that made Marcus's blood run cold. But first, you need to understand what Marcus noticed about this man the moment he got in the car. Details that would have meant nothing to a regular driver, but everything to someone trained to spot threats. The man's phone buzzed with an incoming call. He answered immediately, speaking in what sounded like Arabic, but Marcus recognized it as Farsi. Not many Uber drivers would know the difference. Marcus did. "Nah, Fardashab," the man said quietly. "Stadium. Bail, bail." Marcus's grip tightened on the steering wheel. Fardashab meant tomorrow night in Farsi. Stadium was universal. During his deployment, Marcus had been part of intelligence operations targeting Iranian-backed terror cells. He'd learned enough Farsi to understand operational communications. The man continued his conversation, unaware that his driver spoke the language. 65,000 maximum impact. Bears game. Marcus felt ice form in his stomach. Tomorrow night was Thursday night football. Chicago Bears versus Green Bay Packers. Soldier Field would be packed with 65,000 fans. The passenger ended his call and immediately made another, this time speaking English but keeping his voice low. "Packages confirmed for delivery. Final countdown begins after kickoff." Through the rearview mirror, Marcus watched the man open his briefcase slightly. Inside, he caught a glimpse of what looked like detonation equipment and detailed stadium schematics. What Marcus heard next would have terrified any law enforcement officer in America. His passenger made a phone call that revealed the entire terrorist plot, but he had no idea his Uber driver understood every word. The conversation I'm about to share with you exposed a coordinated attack planned for the next night's football game. But here's the thing. Marcus wasn't just any veteran. His Special Forces training included something that would prove crucial in the next few minutes. The man's third call was to someone he addressed as Commander. "This is Hawk 7, he said in perfect English. "I confirm Chicago package is in position. Stadium will be full capacity tomorrow night. 65,000 casualties, minimum." Marcus's military training kicked into overdrive. Hawk 7 was using standard cell communication protocols. This wasn't a lone wolf. This was coordinated, professional. "Secondary targets confirmed," the man continued. "Parking structures will amplify the damage. Emergency response will be overwhelmed." The briefcase opened wider, and Marcus saw detailed architectural drawings of Soldier Field, including structural weak points marked in red. This wasn't just a bombing. It was a precisely planned demolition designed to bring down portions of the stadium. "Extraction vehicle is staged at Checkpoint Delta. I'll be clear before the first explosion." Marcus realized with growing horror that this man was planning to walk away from mass murder. 65,000 people, families, kids, veterans like himself who just wanted to watch a football game. The man ended his call and leaned back, finally relaxing. He had no idea he'd just confessed to terrorism in front of someone trained to stop it. Now, Marcus had a choice that would define the rest of his life. Call the FBI and hope they believed a random Uber driver, or handle this himself using skills the military had taught him for exactly this type of situation. What he chose to do next broke every rule of civilian life, but it was exactly what his training prepared him for. And remember, the terrorist still had no idea who was driving his car. Marcus made his decision at the next red light. Instead of continuing toward O'Hare, he turned left onto Lower Wacker Drive, the underground street system that ran beneath downtown Chicago. "This isn't the way to the airport," the passenger said, looking up from his phone. "Construction on the highway," Marcus lied smoothly. "This route's faster this time of night." Lower Wacker was perfect for what Marcus had in mind. Minimal traffic, multiple exit points, and plenty of places to disappear if things went wrong. The man seemed satisfied with the explanation and returned to his phone. But Marcus noticed him checking the door handles, testing them subtly. Smart, but not smart enough. Marcus had spent months in hostile territory where every car ride could be his last. He'd learned to read people, to anticipate their moves, to always stay 3 steps ahead. At the next intersection, instead of turning toward the airport, Marcus pulled into an empty parking garage. "What are you doing?" the man demanded, suddenly alert. Marcus calmly engaged the child locks and turned off the engine. When he turned around, the man was staring into the barrel of a Glock 19. "Here's what's going to happen," Marcus said, his voice carrying the quiet authority he'd used to command troops in combat zones. "You're going to tell me everything about tomorrow night's operation, or 65,000 people are going to die, and you're going to be the first." What the terrorist discovered in that parking garage was that his Uber driver had spent 2 tours in Afghanistan hunting people exactly like him. But Marcus was about to learn something even more terrifying. This wasn't just one terrorist with one bomb. This was part of a coordinated attack involving multiple cells across the city. And the stadium bombing was only the beginning. "You're making a mistake," the man said, but his confidence was cracking. "I'm just a businessman traveling to—" "Hawk 7, Marcus interrupted. "That's what you called yourself. Iranian Revolutionary Guard uses that designation for sleeper operatives. Package delivery. Extraction at Checkpoint Delta, 65,000 casualties. Should I continue?" The man's face went pale. "You speak Farsi." "Among other things. Now start talking." Under pressure, the terrorist revealed the scope of the operation. 3 cells, 4 bombs total, 1 in the stadium, 2 in the surrounding parking structures, and a 4th targeting the emergency response staging area. "The goal isn't just casualties," he explained, sweat beading on his forehead. "It's to cripple Chicago's emergency response system. While first responders are dealing with the stadium, 3 other targets will be hit simultaneously across the city." Marcus felt sick. This wasn't terrorism. It was urban warfare designed to bring down an entire city's infrastructure. "Who's your contact? Who's coordinating the other cells?" "I don't know names. We only know our own piece of the operation." Marcus recognized the compartmentalized structure from his counterterrorism training. Classic cell organization. Each member knew only what they needed to know. But there's a coordination frequency. the man continued, desperate to cooperate. Emergency communication protocol if something goes wrong. He gave Marcus a radio frequency and a set of code words, information that would allow him to monitor the other cells. What Marcus learned next turned his blood to ice. The stadium bombing wasn't the main target, it was a diversion. While every cop, firefighter, and paramedic in Chicago rushed to Soldier Field, the real targets would be completely undefended. 3 simultaneous attacks designed to bring down the city's power grid, communication systems, and transportation network. And Marcus had less than 18 hours to stop all of them. Marcus zip-tied the terrorist to a support beam in the parking garage and called his former unit commander, now working FBI counterterrorism. "Danny, it's Marcus Thompson. I need you to listen carefully and not ask questions until I'm finished." He laid out everything. The intercepted communications, the stadium plot, the coordinated citywide attack planned for the next evening. "Jesus, Marcus, where are you? We need to bring you in for debriefing." "No time. By the time you mobilize task forces and coordinate with local agencies, they'll smell the operation and disappear. These aren't amateurs." "So what are you suggesting?" Marcus looked at the terrorist secured to the concrete pillar. "I'm suggesting you let me handle this the way we used to handle it in Afghanistan." 3 hours later, Marcus was monitoring the coordination frequency from his apartment, which had been hastily converted into a command center. Danny had provided him with FBI surveillance equipment and backup communications, but the operation remained unofficial. Using the intelligence from his captured terrorist, Marcus began tracking the other cells. Each one was staying in a different hotel, using different cover identities, but all reporting to the same coordination frequency. Over the next 12 hours, Marcus Thompson did something that shouldn't have been possible for one person. Using skills learned in the mountains of Afghanistan and the urban battlefields of Iraq, he hunted down 3 terrorist cells operating in one of America's largest cities. What happened next proves that sometimes the most dangerous enemies are the ones hiding among us, and sometimes our greatest protectors are too. One by one, Marcus tracked down the terrorist cells. Each operation was surgical, precise, using skills honed in special operations to neutralize threats without collateral damage. The first cell was taken down in their hotel room at 3 a.m. Marcus used building maintenance access to bypass security, disable their communications, and secure 2 operatives and their bomb-making materials. The second cell required more creativity. They were mobile, moving between safe houses. Marcus followed them for 6 hours, learning their patterns, until he could isolate them in a location where civilian risk was minimal. The third cell nearly escaped. They'd detected unusual FBI activity and were preparing to accelerate their timeline. Marcus had to intercept them en route to their target, the city's main electrical grid facility. By 6 p.m. Thursday evening, all 4 bombs had been secured, 7 terrorists were in FBI custody, and Soldier Field was hosting Thursday night football with 65,000 completely unaware fans. Marcus sat in his Toyota Camry outside the stadium, listening to the crowd cheer as the Bears scored a touchdown. On his passenger seat was a commendation letter from the FBI director that would never be made public. His phone buzzed with a new Uber request, a pickup at Navy Pier, destination unknown. Marcus looked at the request for a long moment, then started his engine. Some warriors never really retire, they just find new ways to serve. 3 years later, Marcus Thompson still drives Uber in Chicago. His passengers see a quiet veteran making an honest living. They have no idea they're riding with the man who single-handedly prevented the largest terrorist attack in American history. If this story amazed you, wait until you see our next Silent Warriors episode about the substitute teacher who was actually SWAT. And in the comments below, tell me, have you ever wondered what secrets the people around you might be hiding?